Similar to the previous video, this time we're going to sketch this graph here. We are going to sketch this graph. So we know it breaks down when x equals 0. So there's a vertical asymptote at x equals 0, and there's another vertical asymptote at x equals 2. We know that. Now let's investigate what happens when x is very, very big, when x heads towards infinity. So when x heads towards infinity, if you look at the numerator, you've got this block, take away this block. When x becomes very, very big, this 1 here will be irrelevant. So the numerator will just act as x. And then if you multiply this out, that will then give you this. So if you look at the denominator, you've got 2 blocks, 1, 2. When x becomes very, very big, this thing here is going to be irrelevant. So the denominator will just act as x to the power of 3. So that, remember, this is only valid when x is very, very big. So so when x is very, very big, the limit here will be the same as this limit here. It becomes simpler. This complicated thing will become simpler, meaning that when x is very, very big, this is going to be irrelevant, this is going to be irrelevant. So it's just going to act like this. Simplify this, meaning that this limit is the same as this limit here. As x becomes infinity, as x heads towards infinity, the limit will be 0. So we know the graph will look like this. It's heading towards 0 from above. And the same argument goes when x heads towards negative infinity. It will act like this. It will head towards 0 from above. So we know the graph looks like this. So we know the graph looks like this. Heads towards 0 from above, heads towards 0 from above. Now let's investigate what happens when you head towards 2. So imagine it just to the right of 2. Let's just imagine not 2.1. So to the right and to the left, 1.999, really close to 2. So now if you put this into here, this thing here, either side of 2, either 2.1 or 1.999, you take away 1, this thing here will always be positive. It will always be positive because even if it's 1.999, take away 1, it's this thing here is going to be positive. This thing here will be positive. And then for sure, this will always be positive because you're squaring it. This will be positive, and then this thing here. All right, hang on. So to the right of 2, to the left of 2. Let's imagine it's this. If you take away 2, sometimes it can be positive, sometimes it can be negative. Because hang on, if you look at the number line, 2 is here. 2.1 take away 2, 1, 2. You see that would be positive. But then if you're on the left of 2, 1.9999, take away 2, 1, 2. So you would be in the negative. So that means this block here will sometimes be positive, and sometimes it can be negative. Meaning that the whole thing here, one's going to shoot up and one's going to shoot down. And I've done an explanation of this in the previous video. One's going to shoot up and one's going to shoot down like this. So we know that the limit is DNE because sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative. I've done an explanation on this in the previous video. So we know it's going to look like that. Hang on, let me clean this up. Hang on, let me clean this up. So so we know one's going to shoot up, one's going to shoot down. So now let's investigate what happens at 0. So either side of 0, either 0.0001 and 0.0, hang on, negative 0.001. So either side of 0, let's see what happens. This thing here will be, for sure, will definitely be negative, because when you take, this is a small number, take away 1, it would definitely be a negative. And then this thing here, when you're squaring anything, it's going to be for sure positive. and then this thing here, a small number either side of 0, take away 2 would be definitely be negative. So this block here will always be negative. So now you've got a negative and a negative, meaning the overall answer would be a positive. So when you have well, it's going to do this. It's going to shoot up and up as well. So we know our graph looks something like this. Hang on. So now we know our graph looks something like this. It has to be like this. It has to head towards 0 as x heads towards positive infinity. It's going to shoot up, it's going to shoot down, and here it's going to shoot up and up. So we can guess our graph to look something like this. And then it crosses over somewhere around here. But where's this here? If you really want to know, then put 0 into the y and see where that is. 0 equals x minus this, x squared, x minus 2, times both sides by this, so that would be 0 equals x minus, and then x equals 1. So this must be a 1. Okay. So if you plot this into decimals, it will give you this graph. It will give you this graph, and you can see that this is 1, and then it heads towards 0. It heads towards 0. At 0 here, they're both going to shoot up. They're both going to shoot up, and at 2, one shoots up, one shoots down. Okay.